ready? All right, so let's call the roll.
Commissioner Shea,
Here.
Commissioner Lemon,
Here.
Commissioner Gregg,
Here.
and we have Alderman Dowd with us, and Mayor Donches is not with us tonight.
All right, Commissioner,
And Commissioner Speedy is just running a little bit late.
Commissioner Lemon, do you have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Gregg, do you have a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Public Works meeting of February 27, 2025.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's see, we have a period for public comment. Do we have any public comment? No comments from the public. Let's see, Commissioner Lemon, do you have a motion?
Okay, so.
5A.
Yeah, so I move to, do we say support, to authorize?
I move to authorize the city.
Okay, I move to authorize the city to enter into a clean water state revolving fund loan agreement with the state of New Hampshire and borrow an amount not to exceed $865,000 for the Four Hills landfill PFAS leachite removal and destruction pilot test project.
Okay, I can speak to that.
Yeah,
if you'd
please.
like, Commissioner Shea. So this is essentially a loan with 100% forgiveness from DES, and it is to pilot different technologies to treat PFAS in our landfill leachate. And what's really driving this is that we convey approximately 1.5 million gallons a month of our leachate to the wastewater treatment plant. So we need, so we are the biggest supplier of PFAS to the wastewater treatment plant. So we need to find ways to reduce it. So this is what this loan would do. And we, right now, we have some ideas on what we'd like to do, but this is just authorization now, and then we would put out an RFQ for an engineer, and then another for a contractor once we chose the technology. So this is essentially just authorizing us to accept this loan.
Very good. Are there any discussion? Okay.
I'll tell you, the past budget, I wasn't sure if we passed it last night for the Alderman meeting already. So it passed budget.
It did, correct, thank you, Alderman Dodd. I think it's going to the next Board of Alderman meeting.
All right. Let the minute show that Commissioner Espedia joined us at 4:04 PM. Commissioner Espedia, oh, wait, I suppose we need a motion for this, right? A motion to approve? Right, without further comment, all in favor say yay.
Yay.
Yay?
All against? Very good. So the motion passes. Let's see, so next, we'll have a presentation by the Boys and Girls Club of Nashua on street hockey.
And
Yes,
I'd like to welcome Craig Fitzgerald.
welcome.
Some handout. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Right here. Is this one?
Yes, please.
Hi, everyone. By way of introduction, I'm the executive director at the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Nashua. For about 9 months now, we've been working on a project to enhance the court that's in front of the Boys and Girls Club. For broader context, we're in the middle of a $12 million capital campaign. We've been doing a bunch of drainage work. We're renovating our locker rooms. Basically, the whole club is being completely renovated. Part of that is we've looked around the outside of the club and saw opportunities to enhance outdoor play for the children. We have a pretty extensive street hockey league with the Police Athletic League, and we use a court that's a bit dilapidated in front of the, it meets our needs, but there's an opportunity for improvement right in front of the club. What we've done is we've partnered with several different agencies across the city. Conway Arena has given $100,000 of seed funding for this effort. We've reached out to the Bruins Foundation with a letter of support from Police Athletic League. We've received another $100,000 from the Boston Bruins Foundation as a result of that application. Total cost of the project is just over $300,000. We're estimating $335K with contingency. So we have $200,000 via the Conway Arena and the Boston Bruins Foundation. The Boys and Girls Club has already secured funds for the remainder. What we would like to do is to renovate that. We've spoken with several of the directors in the mayor's office, most recently also with Lisa. We've given a tour to Alderman Lopez, and we have full support from everybody involved. We're standing by for permission to move forward. I have some slides on here. If you look at, I think I'm on slide 3, you can see where it's located is directly in front of the Boys and Girls Club, right next to Ledge Street baseball fields. If you go to slide 4, you can see the current condition of the court that we use. And it's just, there's a lot of pine trees around there. It's been a little bit of time since it's been improved. And then on slide 5 shows the rendering of what it will look like. It is a requirement of the Boston Bruins donation that they have their logo at the center of the street hockey rink. What's not shown in this rendering is there's going to be netting or fencing on top of the boards to prevent people from having to replace their windshields nearby. And the front of the building of the Boys and Girls Club, what you see there is what the club will look like post the capital campaign. It's just a little bit of a refresh and vibrancy to the front of the club. One thing we will need to do is remove the entire existing structure. We'll need to remove the pine trees that are around it. And then we're asking to remove about 30 feet of pine trees to the left. Right now, when the spectators come, they stand, and there's only about 3 feet between the street hockey court and the actual parking lot, which is a safety issue. So we're going to remove trees on the left-hand side as you're looking at it on slide 5, and add bleachers there. And what's not shown here, but budget dependent, is we might add some, like a little bench for each of the kids on either side when they're waiting to get into the game. The rink itself will be a 55% scale of an actual NHL hockey rink. So width-wise, it's exactly what's already there. We're going to go 10 feet closer to the club, though, to hit that 55% scale. And then I won't dive into the pricing, but we gave detailed pricing on slide 6. And again, what the 304 number you see there, we've added 10% for contingency. There's also allowances built in, so we feel really good with that buffer. And then obviously, we wouldn't be the Boys and Girls Club if we didn't show pictures of the children that will benefit from this on slide 7. The very, very last slide is we had detailed discussions with the director and the mayor regarding usage. Because we are investing so much money and will project manage the entire project, and because we use it so much, we are asking, and we lay out on an annualized basis, right of access for about 12 hours a week. So. Any questions? Or Director, anything you want to add?
The only thing I was going to add is that our legal department is working on an agreement between the city and the Boys and Girls Club. So that will be forthcoming to you as well.
Any questions?
Commissioner Lemon.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you say that you were going to have to take down the entire structure of the Boys and Girls Club when you do the renovation?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was
We're
gonna
just,
say, what
no,
was
thank
it?
goodness, no, we're going to remove the entire structure of the hockey rink.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great. Because I was like, what's going to happen to those
No.
kids?
No.
It's a bigger project.
Any other questions or comments?
I
Yes.
just have one. When I played street hockey in Boston, we did it on the street, but sometimes in people's backyards, we did it on rollerblades. Will this rink be able to use rollerblades?
Right now, we just have the kids with their shoes. It will be, you can use rollerblades on it.
Okay.
I spoke with the contractor. Initially, we talked about looking at cooling, and we decided from a cost and maintenance perspective, we weren't going to do that. They do think also, in addition to just shoes and possibly rollerblades, if it's cold enough winter, we might be able to put bags and like a plastic tarp in the wintertime and then flood it. That's to be determined, though, once we get into the actual design phase.
Okay, so what about the logo then?
The ice will be, I asked about that, the ice will be deep enough, and the company that's doing it, they can do touch-ups pretty easily, so.
Any other questions? Thank you, Alderman Obi. Let's see, so for water access, are you just drawing it from the building for that, or are you?
Correct.
Yep, great. And the 12 hours, that's, you're talking about 12 hours for exclusive use by the club?
Correct.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if it was
Yeah.
the public for 12 hours of the club. This is great, this is an excellent project. That park is, no, it's really, I mean, that area is, yes, that area is sad, and this improvement will be great. But between T-ball and baseball and just all of the different activities and spaces there, it's really awesome for the neighborhood, and this will be a great improvement. So thank you for your efforts. Yes, Commissioner Speedy.
Yeah, I just want to add, I think it's, this population probably doesn't get a lot of hockey folks, so it's good to introduce it to that part of the city. So no, I'm full of support of trying to bring hockey to the area.
Yeah, we're really, really excited about this. It's the largest gift ever in the history of Conway Arena. The Boston Bruins Foundation was really excited about the project. And to your point, it's an opportunity to expose children to a sport that otherwise they may not have access to.
And I'll add, I love that you've gotten a good coalition of folks at PAL and just Conway and all the other folks. I'm glad it's a good collaborative effort.
And do we need a motion tonight, or you're saying legal is working on what that will look like?
We'll have a motion when we have the agreement. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
All right, thank you for the support, appreciate it.
All right, so next up, we have a presentation by Matt Sullivan and Liz Hannum on Mine Falls and Riverwalk improvements. Welcome.
Thank you. Liz Hannum, Economic Development Director.
And Matt Sullivan, Community Development Director.
So we wanted to come to you today to give you a quick update on what's happening with NIMCO and potentially ask you for a letter of support at some point. We'll start with some background. I think most of you have been aware of the Riverfront project that's going on. In 2017, we did a redevelopment plan adopted, and we created 4 different districts. So the construction that's happening right now is in Section 2, Quadrant 2, and that's the only construction that's happened so far, except for the boardwalk along Peddler's daughter. So that was 2017, which is 10 years after we did a district modification for the TIF. In case you're not aware, a TIF is a tax increment finance district, which means that all of the properties that are in red there are the increment, the increase in taxes each year goes into a special fund that pays for any projects that we do within that district. So that was modified to include more areas in 2007. And then we created the dog park area, did a concept plan for that, and that is right at the entrance into Mine Falls Park. So we have kind of done a few things around that area and are looking to potentially start working on the next quadrant as we finish up this second quadrant. So in 2021, we're looking at the NIMCO area planning study. So we wanted to give it a little bit of an update. But this is the area that we're looking at as the next quadrant, is that little, I call it the thumb, around of land around the Milliard Tech Park, all the way down to Mine Falls, and then across to where Ledge Street would meet. But we did some planning studies that looked at what we could potentially put there, and housing was identified as, whoops, no, that's right. Okay, so housing, housing was identified as the best use of that space there. And we went out to RFP and identified LMG as the developer. So we've been working with them on redeveloping that space into about 250 units. So the status of that is ongoing. We're still in the process of working on negotiations for the master development agreement. So all of the things that are on the slide here, potentially, they're still in flux. So, but this is identified as most likely going forward. So we've got 250 units with on-site parking as the building. And then the site design is underway. And then these public improvements are both on the front of the building and the back of the building. So the front of the building, where the smokeyard or the smokestack is identified here in the little coloring book variety picture here. So there's going to be a plaza out front with potential locations for food trucks and parking in the front of the building there, and would likely draw people in from Clock Tower and from other locations that can kind of make connections from downtown into Mine Falls Park. We're also looking at recreational elements. So I think, is this, yeah, this next one. So we were really excited about doing public improvements in the back of the building along the riverfront as well. And when we actually got the building, we identified that there's not a lot of space in that backside. So we're kind of sticking with, we might do a little plaza and continue the pathway from the little thumb area and around. And so that got us thinking, how could we do some more public improvements that we can't get here in other locations within the district? So we looked at the dog park. Let's see. Yeah, so the dog park design and construction is being negotiated that the developer will actually pay for and implement, construct themselves. So that will likely see a reduction in the purchase price of the building, create those public improvements. We're also negotiating about 20 parking spaces in that front area there, so that people can park and go into either the Mine Falls Park or the dog park area. And all of that would be included in the purchase price and negotiation for the building as we move into the next phase of that. So likely we will see, hopefully, this signed fairly soon, and then construction can start after that. We did see a fire at the NIMCO building, and so the faster this can move, the better. The last one there is a shared parking garage. So the spaces that are for the residents in the interior of the building will actually be public. A portion of them will be public during the day from 8 to 8. And so we'll actually get more public parking in that area as well. Go. So between the dog park and NIMCO, and the parking lot at the bottom of the district, the dotted line there, which is the property that the city has turned over to BIDA, the Business and Industrial Development Authority, to do some development work on that. Likely housing, but we'll kind of see long-term what that looks like. But with several of the properties in play for development in that area, we've kind of moved the momentum and would like to follow that momentum into more public improvements, kind of public-private partnerships that we can kind of get more bang for our buck with that. So we're looking at updating the concept plans. We're going to do a charrette, which you can
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to that. So, I think you might be wondering, why are we here talking to BPW about a private development project? And I think Liz captured it well, and that is that although it's one private development project, we're using that as the leverage and really the catalyst to begin negotiating public improvements in this area that have been within the city's planning efforts for several years since that 2017 plan was adopted, and even back to when the 2007 TIF was put in place. And so this NIMCO site is really the catalyst that we think is going to pull the focus away from some of the work that was planned initially by the library and building out paths over there. Instead, we're thinking about shifting our focus to this area because of the NIMCO site, because of what's potentially going on with other properties in the area, because of the bit of work that's happening on the old police training facility and the parking lot there. And frankly, in spite of the asset that's right at the front door, and that is, of course, Mine Falls Park, which is an incredible asset. And so that's a huge reason why we're here, because that's a park and recreation asset that's under your control and the Mine Falls Park Advisory Committee. But we're really excited about the potential opportunity of this private development and other developments in the area to potentially improve the quality of that space. And I think we want to be sensitive to many more users in the park, because it could degrade the experience and the quality of what that park is. But at the same time, I think it's our hope that perhaps the gateway to that park can be enhanced. There could be some additional and maybe some safer parking provided in the area if that space is not in the best condition, because it's not heavily used right now. And so we're seeing a real opportunity, I think, to partner with you folks and the great work that DPW is doing. And so as Liz mentioned, there are really two pieces here that we wanted to talk to you about. One is, this is something we're working on, and we're potentially looking at expanding the TIF district and being able to capture some of the money that's being created here and investment that's being done here. But the other thing is, with all of these pieces going on independently, we recognize a larger need to have a coordinated and higher level conversation about how all these different things fit together. And this actually came out of the fact that when we were meeting with the NIMCO developer, they said, what is your vision for this area by our building? And we kind of had an answer, but we kind of didn't. We had an answer for that site, but maybe not for the entire area. And so in late May, tentatively, we're hoping to have a larger community conversation about design, really, again, focused on the sites where we have some control or where private property owners are interested, but also about the general vision for this area, how it connects to downtown through the work of the engineering department of the Pine Street Crosswalk, how it connects to Mine Falls Park through the Mine Falls Park Advisory Committee in this group. There's a lot going on here. You can even add in the tannery and the work going on there. This is a really exciting time and place in the city right now, but we need to have a comprehensive conversation about this, and one that's newer than 2017 when the last such conversation took place. So this charrette in late May it's not going to bind us to do anything. It doesn't allocate any money. It doesn't say this is absolutely what we're going to do. But it's this larger community conversation that's needed, with all of you being stakeholders in that as well, the Board of Aldermen, of course, to give us some very clear vision. So as these properties develop, redevelop, we have clear direction for the people doing that work. And so we're really excited about that. And so one of the asks today is for you all to consider this work and really just generally support the idea of a comprehensive planning strat for the area. We'd love to get a letter of support for you to work with Plan New Hampshire, and we're really excited about that work, but I'll stop there.
Yeah, and I'll just add too that we essentially don't have any funds to do the planning work that this would take to be ready if there are developments, and private entities will come to us and say, what do you want to do? So there's not really any money to do that unless we expand the TIF. So right now it stops right at the Veterans Memorial Parkway, and it doesn't go into that west side. So we would likely need to do that, and we're hoping that you would support that effort as well. That would have to go through the Board of Aldermen, but that's probably our biggest hurdle at this point, is trying to figure out how to find funding. There are a lot of really important and necessary projects that the city is working on, and we don't want to be insensitive to that. And so that's, I think, why we are leaning towards the TIF expansion, so that we don't have to compete against, because this is not going to be competed against the DPW garages or so we're trying to find funding where we can, essentially. So do you want to take this?
Yeah, happy to. And I think, one of the things that we'd like to do today, and we want to stick to our time limit as well. I can't even look at Lisa knowing that we're going a little long. But, one of the things we'd like folks to start thinking about in advance of either that design charrette in May or just further conversations with this body is, what are the things that you'd like to see in this area? A dog park was identified. There was a feasibility study done for it. But there are other opportunities, whether that's for additional park space, whether it's a needed parking lot, whether it's play features. It's not a blank canvas because there are challenges with some of the grades and other things out here. But there is some thought that we all need to do, I think, about what our vision would be. We don't need these answers today. In fact, I would suggest we all sort of ruminated on it a little bit. But if you're able to attend the charrette, and we'll share that information with everybody for late May, or as part of a future conversation here, we would love to know what folks would like to see in this area. And again, it's not just on the publicly controlled sites, it's also when it comes to private development, what types of mixed use, commercial, industrial, brewery, childcare, what sorts of things would you want to see in this area? We'd like folks to start thinking about that sooner rather than later so we can guide our future planning efforts.
I think that's it.
All right, thank you both so much. Alderman Depp?
Two questions. The dog park, since it's being developed by the Inco, are they going to pay for the planning as well?
Yes. So we've given them the study that we did in 2019. So they have all the information. They have all of our wants and needs for that area. And they are working with us. We meet every other week with their architects. So.
The reason I asked that, Matt, is does this really need the CIC recommendation?
Alderman Dowd, I learned yesterday, much to my dismay, that this was the lowest ranked project when it came to the CIC. I believe it was 162, 162, but I believe that's because I said that it was going to happen no matter what. But in all seriousness, we had that debate, and because it had been included in prior iterations of the plan, and because technically this has not been signed on the dotted line, Alderman Dowd, I did feel obligated to include it, and that's why I presented it.
The other question I have is, I heard this week that there is some interest in a medical facility going in that big parking lot you just mentioned in that area. Have you heard anything about that?
We can't confirm or deny.
No comment. No comment.
Okay.
Yep. And you're referring to the city-owned lot?
Yes.
Or, yeah, no,
I know you don't want to get specifics because the specifics aren't there, but.
well, I think what we,
Oh,
yeah, no, I
I
think
thought
there's,
you were
this
talking
is,
about somewhere else.
I'm not aware of that at all, actually.
No.
I think we should say that on the record.
Yeah.
BIDA is currently working on issuing an RFP potentially for those parcels. They have complete control, thanks to the work of the alderman, to cede that to them. There's been no discussion about a medical use on that property at all. Hearsay.
Blush.
Yeah, it's, and honestly, that's not the general direction that the Board of Aldermen gave when it came to redevelopment. It was a housing and parking focus. One of the challenges is that lot needs to provide public parking for the area, but we have not heard any such interest in a medical use.
Commissioner Speedy?
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this. This sounds exciting. I think the idea of expanding the TIF probably makes sense, given that there is going to be a lot of activity in that area, and it would be great if some of those taxes would go, those funds and revenue would go to the development of that area. I think one of the things is, I want to preserve the entrance to Mine Falls. I know that a lot of folks, whether it's biking, whether it's running, I've certainly used that entrance. Although when you pulled up the big map, I also go through Mine Falls. There's like a little pedestrian bridge right off of Ledge Street that I like to use because it's closer to my house. But if I want to add extra mileage, I can go all the way around. But that is like that is a really popular entrance for folks who live closer to this part of the city. So, I think just making sure that we preserve that part of being a gate towards, Mine Falls, and that it's not, that it's not difficult to get into the park in future development, I think is important for, like y'all mentioned, for the to make sure that we hold, I think, like, the importance of the park. And I think I'm very curious to see what it would look like when there is more foot traffic. And I want to make sure that we don't, like, with that doesn't come any other issue as well.
All right, any other questions or comments? I
Commissioner Shea, could
know
I
we're
have-
going to call some friends in.
Could I, yes, could I also have the board's authorization to provide a letter of support to directors
Oh, yeah.
Hannum and...
I do have a follow-up question. This is really exciting. We have a lot of opportunity in the Mill Yard. The TIF district tool has been excellent. We've already seen the Riverwalk starting to be built out, and it gives us the opportunity to share in the vision and the deployment of money and resources to make both the public and the private things happen and feed into each other. And I'm really glad that Nashua has pushed in this direction. For the public parking piece, I would agree that that's super important. The garage piece on School Street, have we opened that garage yet? Because we have a project a parking asset that sounds like this. And so if we haven't opened that garage, it concerns me that we're looking to do a project like that again. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I can. Just met on it this morning.
Oh, good.
So the parking garage is not yet open to the public. We are coming up, we just passed it 1 year, but we, I think, learned a lot of lessons with this as our first kind of public-private partnership on this. And, there were things like the handicap door had a step on the outside, and the roll-up garage door wasn't wide enough for a public garage. So there were lots of things that we had to fix. And I think when we're planning the next one, we know more about it. And so I think we've learned our lesson. But it will open probably early May.
Oh, good.
Late April.
That's excellent.
So it should be open in a month or two.
Good. Very good. Well, thank you for all your work on this. Yes. Did you have anything?
The only thing is, can I have authorization to provide a letter of support to Directors Hannum and Sullivan?
Yeah.
okay?
Would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to
Go ahead.
approve a letter.
Great.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? All right, very good.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you
very
both so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break from the agenda for a special item. We have two friends that were not able to join us last month, so they're
From
here
the
with
calendar
us
contest.
today.
I know. I would have shut
Thank
up
you
sooner. I left my car seat in my car. My wife was going to pick up our kid.
Oh, no,
So we only have
Oh,
one
no.
car seat, so.
With Lincoln, I got to the Y one time, and Julie had taken the car with the car seats that day, and I got there, and I was like, so I just had to sit there in the car with him.
I've been there.
He loves it, he loved it. He was like maybe 14 minutes old or something.
Hi, welcome.
Well,
Welcome, welcome.
Okay.
Director Photo, would you like to
We have-
introduce our guests?
We have Scott Perkins here, who is our recycling administrator, and I think
Yep.
he's going to
The,
read the...
I'm going to read the mayor's certificate of recognition to the students.
Awesome.
Scott Perkins, City of Nashua, Solid Waste. I'm just going to read the one. They're all the same, just changes the students' names. Mayor Jim Donchis would like to recognize Ella Pearson and Natalie Dreyer for contributing artwork to the 2025 recycling calendar. The mayor appreciates all the students who took the time to share their creative and artistic talents with the city. It's wonderful to showcase our local young people, not only for their artwork, but also to highlight that the next generation is invested in important issues like recycling and caring for our planet and environment. We also thank the teachers, staff, and administrators who helped facilitate the contest, and hope the students will continue to be involved in city government in fun ways like this. The involvement of young people today will positively impact their world in the future. Now, therefore, I, Jim Donchis, Mayor of the City of Nashua, New Hampshire, do recognize on February 27th, 2025, this student and the many others who contributed their time and talents to this project. Thank you. It's signed by Jim Donchis, Mayor of the City of Nashua. So if Ella, you'd like to come up and take your certificate? Natalie?
Would it be okay if we did a photo with the kids, with the
Yeah.
commissioners and director? Yeah? Yeah? Awesome. Thank you so much. Why don't we all come on up here? Dave? Bring your flags on up.
Second photo? No.
Yes, thank you.
One of our boys had those calendars in their rooms, and they were very eager to put their birthdays on them.
Do you have
It's the most important day.
calendars? Do you have copies that you have? Okay, good. Okay, super.
You know,
Thank you all so much.
All right,
Thank y'all for coming.
in my office too.
back to business. Enjoy, thank you.
This is the business we'd rather be.
I
Yeah,
know, right? This
absolutely.
was-
Sorry, we can't stick around.
I was like, you don't want to learn about wastewater permits?
Thank you. Wastewater
Thank y'all.
permits, awards for kids.
I got to go to Christmas week for kids who've done their own food drives. Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great. All right. That was very lovely.
It is. Shout out to the kids.
Okay.
All right. So we are on to section 7 here. 8. Commissioner Lemon, 8A, do you have the motion?
I move to approve the user warrants as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Gregg, motion B.
Motion to approve Amendment 1 in the amount not to exceed $1,093,176, adding year 4 to the contract with Resource Management, Inc. of Holderness, New Hampshire, for management of biosolids at the wastewater treatment facility. Funding will be through Department 169 wastewater, Fund wastewater account classification, 54 property services.
Hey, good afternoon. Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. Currently, the wastewater facility has a 3-year contract with RMI, Resource Management, Inc., to manage our biosolids. Right now, they take our biosolids and land apply it for beneficial reuse on permitted properties throughout New Hampshire. We're nearing the end of our 3-year contract. The original contract had a provision to extend it a year. So far, we've had really good relationships with this company, and they're one of the few that can actually do the work, so we'd like to continue for another year with them. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Commissioner Spiti, motion C.
I move to approve the rebuilding of the wet weather bar screens by Huber Technology of Denver, North Carolina, in an amount of $144,504.54. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, Wastewater Activity 81 Capital.
Thank you. Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. So the wastewater facility has a wet weather facility that has 2 mechanical bar screens. They're currently being used during our dry well upgrade. Normally, they just run during wet weather events. However, they're running more often now. And during December, we had a storm that pushed through a lot of heavy material through and damaged the bar racks. We got them up and running, utilizing the company that manufactured it. While they were here in December and January, they did an inspection. There was some damage done to them, although they're running right now. So this would be the cost to bring them up to the original specified conditions, manufactured specified conditions. We plan on doing this work after the flow is restored back to our main building, after the project's done, which is expected to be by the end of this month. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or discussion?
Actually, a quick
All-
question.
Yes, Commissioner Speedy.
What type of, like, what kind of heavy materials damaged?
Oh, so,
I'm very curious.
yeah. So this is a mechanical bar screen. Its job is to, all the flow goes through a screen, and it collects all the heavy material. So it's rags,
Okay.
sand, rocks that might have come through the catch basins. But these screens are normally designed for a lighter material, because all the heavy stuff normally goes through our main building. However, we did this during the wintertime to avoid storms. Unfortunately, December, January proved us wrong. So heavier material than normal went through these screens, which is a lighter build, mainly to carry leaves and some trash that comes through. It just happened to be heavier than normal all at once.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The motion passes. I suppose I should ask if nobody wants it, right? To get to say that one. All against? Nay? None? No, good, all right. So we have the 2025 spring cleanup schedule.
Would you like me to speak to that?
Yeah,
or-
if you
Okay.
could.
So we have started to take appointments for our annual spring cleanup, and that will go through April 4th. Residents can call and request a pickup, and the cleanup will take place between April 7th and the 18th. Acceptable items, just as a reminder, are brush cut in towards the street, no larger than 4 inches in diameter and no longer than 8 feet, and shrubs, and all shrubs need to be cleaned of soil and sand. And unacceptable items are metal goods, household hazardous waste, doors, wood posts. Those are not things that we would be picking up. And residents may also, with the 2025 landfill permit, bring all of these items, of course, to the Four Hills landfill during hours of operation, which is Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 and Saturdays from 8 to 12:45.
All right, thank you, Director Photo. And...
Question on
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Is it already posted?
yes,
Yeah.
it is posted.
All right, great, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So the next item we have is Section X, the Solid Waste Department. Motion A, Commissioner Lemon, I believe.
I move to approve a contract with Charter Contracting Company, LLC of Boston, Mass., to continue construction of the residential setback barrier wall in the amount of $325,730. Funding will be through Department 168, Solid Waste, Fund, Bond, Activity, Soil Wall.
And joining us this evening is Darren Santos, who is our environmental engineer at Solid Waste.
Good evening, Darren Santos, Solid Waste Department. This is, originally was called the soil wall, the setback wall that's established along the backside of the landfill to separate the residences 500 feet from the solid waste that goes in the landfill. So to access remaining airspace, we have to continue to raise this wall. And one of the next motions is about Phase 4, which we're still waiting to get underway. So we really need to get that final airspace in the Phase 1, 2, 3 landfills by extending the wall up.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? What can I say, like, without objection, the motion passes? Is that,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel silly asking, like,
You don't
everybody
need
to say
everybody
nay every time.
Right, yeah.
All right, so the motion passes. Thank you so much. Motion B, Commissioner Gregg.
Motion to approve change order number 2 to the landfill gas header relocation contract with SCS Field Services of Reston, Virginia, in the amount not to exceed $70,150. Funding will be through Department 168, Solid Waste Fund Bond Activity Gas Header Relocation.
Again, Darren Santos, Environmental Engineer, Solid Waste Department. This SES, it was under contract earlier this year to relocate the main vacuum header for the landfill gas system in preparation for Phase 4. They're coming back in the spring to finish that project here this month, or April, I should say. We'd like to get a change order to have them, in concert with the setback wall going up, we need to raise features of the landfill gas recovery system so that that airspace can be used, and having them on site to finish the project, it makes sense to extend them a change order.
All right, any questions or additional comments? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Let's see, Commissioner Espitia, motion C.
Move to approve change order number 1 with Charter Contracting Company LLC of Boston, Massachusetts, in the amount of $823,780.28 for the added construction of the Phase 4 landfill. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund Bond Activity Phase 4 construction.
Again, Darren Santos with the Solid Waste Department. This change order is needed because our Phase 4, our initial permit was approved, but our final permit is still pending. In December, they revised and reissued the solid waste rules. And simply put, they're requiring, when you prepare the subgrade for the new landfill, you used to need 6 inches of low permeability soil, and they revised that to 24 inches. So there's additional excavation to get the 24 inches, and then additional import of the low permeability soil to achieve that new regulation. And that regulation change is what's driving the change order.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? All right, without any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Thank you very much, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you. In the flash.
Feeling better?
We'll see.
I hope so.
I got backup here if I need it.
Good. All right. Let's see, Commissioner Lemon, motion A.
I move to approve the sewer service permits and fees as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Gregg, motion B.
A motion to approve the award of the construction contract for the 2025 sewer replacement project to N. Graniers and Sons, probably butchered that, of Salem, Mass. In the amount of $1,577,329.88. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund Bond Activity Sewer Rehab.
Good afternoon, Dan Hudson, City Engineer. So we have a bit of sewer work planned for this season. We had bid out a contract 1 that was awarded to Crisp Contracting. This is contract 2. We bid this out. We received 3 bids, and Granice and Sons of Salem, Mass. was the low bidder. We worked with them before successfully, and we recommend award of the contract to them.
All right, any questions or comments? Do you want us to just see if we have any questions on these so that you don't have to give us the rundown? Because the motion may be adequately explanatory. And I know you always do a very good job of running through these things, but I can also hear your voice, and would that be okay with you?
It's the board's pleasure. I feel I can speak okay, but it's the board's pleasure. If you want to expedite the meeting, that's fine as well.
Does anybody have any, do you have any objection to that?
Well, and the one thing that I would say is we actually have reports on most of these
Yep.
right in here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been able to read
Yeah.
it, so he doesn't have to.
It is always super helpful to hear from you, but I think today we can save the voice, and, okay. Okay, good. I'm glad everybody's good with that. All right, thank you so much. let's see, am I at Commissioner Spitia? Commissioner Lemon?
Yes, you're at me.
Commissioner Spitia. Motion C.
Yep, to approve the construction administration contract for the 2025 CIPP sewer mainlining project with Hayner Swanson, Inc., now IMEG of Nashua, in an amount of $150,000. Funding will be through Department 169 wastewater fund, bond activity sewer rehab. Nice rebrand.
Any questions or comments on this item?
No?
No. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Item D, Commissioner Lemon.
To approve, I move to approve the award of the construction contract for the 2025 Pavement Preservation Program to Seal Coating Incorporated, doing business as Indus of Braintree, Mass., in an amount of $435,594. Funding through Departments 160 Admin Engineering, Funds, Bond, Activity, Paving.
All right. Any questions or comments? All right. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item E, Commissioner Gregg.
I motion to approve DW Highway and Spitbrook Signal Timing Adjustment Engineering Services Contract with Vaness Hongen Brucelin Incorporated of Bedford, New Hampshire, in an amount of $102,250. Funding will be through Department 160 Admin Engineering, Fund, Trusts, DW Highway Spitbrook contributions, and account category 55 other services.
Mr. Chair.
I was going to say, Engineer Hudson, I can feel that you really want to talk about this one.
Let's do it.
So please, yes, please.
I just want to chime in a little on this one. Thank you. The timing of the signals on the DW corridor is long overdue. It was last done about 10 years ago. I just wanted to point out, this is being funded from the traffic contributions line, largely funded from the recent Nash Casino project. They actually, I think, contributed $99,500, so almost the entirety of this cost of this effort as part of their traffic mitigation for their site. So I just want to make that point for the record.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you elaborating on that.
To our new business. So thank you to them.
Any other questions or comments on this one? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion F, Commissioner Spitia.
Move to approve the engineering services contract amendment with IMEG of Nashua, New Hampshire, in the amount of $50,000 for professional services to update the BPW standard specifications for sewers and drains, road construction, and sidewalk construction. Funding through Departments 169 wastewater and 161 streets, funds, wastewater and capital activities, Merrimack River levy, and citywide infrastructure improvements.
Any questions or comments on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Thank you. Commissioner Lemon, item G.
I move to consider the hardship request from Liberty Utilities to excavate to replace gas mains at the following list of locations included in their 2025 capital improvement projects and cathodic protection program.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, so I'm Brad Marks from Liberty Utilities. I was here last month with a request on leaks on moratorium streets. This request is in support of our capital projects. A lot of this work is actually in support of the city paving program, where in order to complete a replacement of leak-prone pipe on a street that the city is looking to pave, we actually have to make a tying connection in a street that unfortunately was paved within the last 5 years. That there's a couple instances of that happening here in this request. The other requests are around our cathodic protection systems and maintaining those. That is what we utilize to prevent corrosion in our steel gas lines.
All right. But before we go into questions and comments, I want to take a moment. Engineer Hudson has spoken with us about this kind of project before and the extent to which Liberty and the city coordinates around the paving program to kind of plot this stuff out and plan it out. And sometimes things happen, and there needs to be adjustments that, don't meet our very high standards that we are always holding ourselves to here with these projects. So I just wanted to save you the breath on that, because I know that that is what you would probably say. Any other questions or follow-up comments on this one? Alderman Dow.
You can have the same process of repaving as you did on Concord Street, because that's lasted really well. And you hardly notice there, even dug up. I think that was a gas main as well.
Yeah, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these are like tie-ins, 'cause like we paved a street and we paved an apron of the approaching street. Now we got to go back and we got to cut into that to make the connections to the new main on various streets. So, yeah, the repairs are made in accordance with the ordinances, which require, some milling and paving and that sort of thing to make the best repair that we can.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Let's see. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Let's see. Are we at Commissioner Gregg? I think Commissioner Gregg, MH.
Motion to approve change order 8 to the 2023 sewer rehabilitation program contract 3 with RWC Enterprises of Nashua, New Hampshire in the amount not to exceed $466,966.82. Funding will be through Department 169 wastewater fund bond activity sewer rehab.
Any questions or comments? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for the special accommodation today.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just want to add to say that I truly do mean that. You really go into all of this stuff in great detail with us, and I know that that's a benefit to our decision-making, and it's especially a benefit to the general public. So, maybe you feel a little better next month. We hear from you again.
Get my singing voice back.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see, we're moving on to Administration Department. Commissioner Espetia, motion A.
Move to approve the salary increases proposed by the city's HR department for the wastewater lab personnel.
Okay. We didn't read motion I, but
Oh, pardon me.
No.
I don't know if you want
I'm
to
going to
just...
go back? I can go back.
We'll do that one afterwards.
Want to do that one
Yeah,
afterwards?
without
Okay.
objection.
Okay.
So this actually is, we identified that our lab at the wastewater treatment plant, the personnel was paid, pretty grossly underpaid, actually. And so they approached me, we approached HR. HR hired somebody to do a salary study and found that, in fact, they were grossly underpaid. So these are HR's recommendation to bring them to industry standard rates. So happy to answer questions on that.
Are they in the union or no?
Yes, they are all bargaining unit, UAW bargaining unit members.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, so in the bargaining unit, sorry, I should say.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that they're good. They're good with that.
Yes, they're very happy. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. We love
And
that.
again, these are not our recommendations. These are recommendations that were based on a salary study that was done by HR. So these are HR's recommendations.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yeah, just a
Excuse me,
quick question.
Alderman
Is this
O'Brien.
going to be a sidebar to the existing agreement, or are they currently in negotiations?
No, we are, that's a good question. This is actually going to be a sidebar, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Any additional questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes. Thank you very much. Commissioner Lemon, if you'd be so kind as to read motion I above.
Sure. I move, I move to what? Because it says below is a
It's
list
just,
of...
it's informational.
Oh, it's informational. Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
So there's a list of street opening permits issued for streets and moratorium for the period of February 1st to 28th, 2025.
Any questions about the list?
Nope.
No. All right, very good. Thank you. All right, where are we? So we have the director's report.
Yes. Okay, great, thank you. So this is a picture of Pine Hill Road. We had some heavy winds on March 7th that brought down numerous trees and blocked roadways. So this one, though, happened to be on Pine Hill. The park staff has been busy at Jewel Lane. We've been expanding the parking lot and cutting down some hazardous trees and branches along the perimeter of the park. This is some tree trimming at Fields Grove that we did in actually late February. We've had some water damage in the suites at Holman that was caused by the condensation buildup around the HVAC vents. As you know, we have on and the ad hoc committee, we'll hopefully get some funding to do some much-needed repairs at Holman Stadium, and this is certainly one of them. The Stello Stadium field work was completed on March 17th. The field looks great. Registration for our swimming lesson program opened already March 3rd, and we're offering morning classes at all 3 city pools from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the lessons are 2 weeks in length, and we offer 3 different sessions throughout the summer. So, we had a very successful Biddy basketball season, as usual, and congratulations to our winning teams, the girls' junior Biddy Astros, the girls' Biddy Panthers, the boys' junior Biddy Mustangs, and the boys' Biddy Hawks. Registration is open and ongoing for both our Babe Ruth softball and baseball and programs, and that closes actually at the end of this month. Our next recreation trip will be to Boston to see the Red Sox play on May 18th. The cost is $85, and that includes the bus ride to and from Boston and also the ticket to the game, so pretty good deal. We replaced a couple of speed limit and flashing signs that were knocked down by accidents. You can see here Manchester Street at St. Chris School and Spitbrook Road by World Academy. Our street department team is working on some building maintenance at Holman Stadium. This is what we call the big top, where we store our equipment. And there's a new roof, new siding, and some rebuild of some of the studs. They've done a great job and saved the city a lot of money. And I went over spring cleanup, so this is just a picture of some of what we're doing all over the city. Our first household hazardous waste collection of 2025 will be held on Saturday, April 19th at Crown Street, 25 Crown Street at the Park and Ride. And our soft yard waste collections will begin the week of April 14th. Bulky and scrap metal items can start being called in on April 14th, and curbside collections will start the following Monday on the 21st. And as a reminder, residents are allowed up to 5 items at no charge for the season. Any questions? Yes?
You said Stellus was completed?
Yes,
Not completed.
almost.
It's,
Substantially?
They're working on it now.
Okay.
Just finishing up the sowing of the field, and it will be ready. The first game is the 21st of April. I believe they'll be done working on the field portion by the 7th of April.
Okay.
There'll be other things going on that won't affect the play on the field.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you so much, Director Photo.
You're welcome.
Oh, and the, last time I went down Buck Meadow, I'm not sure that the solar speed warning signs working correctly.
Okay,
I just have that checked.
sure, happy to.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Let's see, so we're moving on to commissioners' comments. Do we have any commissioners' comments this evening?
I have a question.
Yes.
Sure.
Who controls, so I work at the soup kitchen, it's really close to the courthouse. Sometimes I drive through the courthouse parking lot. There is a hole that's really expanding. I'm aware the city does not own that property because it's the courthouse. So who do we contact? I mean, this is getting bigger and bigger every day. It's going to swallow somebody's front end pretty soon.
How big is it?
I would say it's about this big, and it's about this deep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's impressive, really.
It's the courthouse over.
It's at the courthouse, in the courthouse parking lot?
Yep.
Or,
So that's not city, right? That's state?
correct.
Might be the same.
County.
Oh, county, yeah.
Lee County.
Yeah. Well, I'll look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And they ain't got money.
Yeah.
All right. Any other commissioners' comments? Any comments from our alderman tonight? No.
I'm as happy as a clam.
Appreciate you being here. All right, so we are moving on to personnel. Let's see, I'm losing track of who I called on last. I think it's Commissioner Gregg, motion A.
Yep. I motion to approve and unseal the non-public minutes for personnel from the Board of Public Works meeting of February 27th, 2025.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No, okay. The motion passes. Let's see, Commissioner Espitia, motion B.
Move to accept the resignation of Caleb Williams effective March 28, 2025.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. Commissioner Lemon, motion C.
I move to accept the resignation of Noah Boyer, effective March 21st, 2025.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Commissioner Gregg, motion D.
Motion to accept the retirement of Amy Gill effective April 18th, 2025.
Any discussion?
Dan, I don't know if you want to speak to that, but I certainly, Amy Gill has been with the division for a very long time and has worked very hard and made a significant contribution to both the engineering department and public works, so we thank her for her service, but you may want to add something.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. Both Amy and the next one, Mark Jennings, are engineering department staff, and both excellent long-term employees. We're going to miss them a lot. Amy's served the city for over 23 years, Mark for over 11 years. And we're losing some good people. We hope to fill it with some more good people, but like the director, I just want to express my heartfelt thanks for their hard work for many, many years, and wish them well in retirement. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how much this matters, but one of the memos that's included says her last day is the 17th. So,
That's an error. That's probably my fault.
oh, okay.
It is Friday, the 18th. I
It's
think
the
it's their
18th,
last
okay.
day. Yes.
All right. So the motion is to accept the retirement of Amy Gill effective April 18th?
Yep.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are we back at Commissioner Gregg? I don't know.
Can be,
I don't even know, to be honest.
it you?
We'll do Commissioner Speedy, motion E.
I move to accept the retirement of Mark Jennings effective April 28, 2025.
All right. Any discussion? We've had some.
25th.
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 April.
25th.
Did I say 18th? Sorry.
Yeah.
April 25th, 2025. I apologize.
All the lines say
I
practically the same words, so
I
visually it's easy to
know.
get lost in that.
Sorry.
It's fine. Everything's good. All right, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Lemon, motion F.
Pursuant to RSA 91-A:3 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee, I move by roll call that the board go into non-public section.
Will you call the roll? Would you be so kind? Thank you.
Commissioner Shea?
Present. Yes.
Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gregg?
yes.
And Commissioner Espedia?
Yes.
Sure.
already picked them up.
Are we good, Claire?
Yep.
I move by roll call to seal the minutes of the Board of Public Works Personnel non-public meeting of March 27, 2025, until such time as the majority of the board votes that the purpose of the confidentiality will no longer be served.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gregg?
Yes.
Commissioner Espedia?
Yes.
The motion passes.
All right. Anybody else want to make a motion, or
Yeah.
shall I do the honors?
Commissioner Speedy, you want to make a motion?
Sure, I move to adjourn.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you so much, appreciate you all.
Thank you.
And thank you again for bringing the kids out that couldn't make it last month, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice.